Hi, today we're going to do some 20 minutes Pilates base abdominal work to strengthening the connection of the legs into the lower abdominals, the arms into the upper abdominals, just a little bit of a touch and feel what we really want to achieve when we're doing our Pilates exercise. So let's start. So as we roll down onto your back, I want you to start to feel the connection of the feet with the floor, the relaxed position of the pelvis without pushing the back into the mat. Take some nice breath into your belly to feel nice and wide across your stomach, across your ribs, across your shoulders. Let your arms nicely rest by your side and just take some nice deep breathing into the bottom of your ribs behind your back, and then allow to release slowly. Exhalation. Inhale. As you breathe in, engage with the back part of your ribs, the bottom part of your ribs, and exhale. The idea, we don't want to create too much contraction around the part of your stomach, but engaging with the back and trying to feel long and stretch from the base of your spine to the base of the neck. We take a nice deep breath into the bottom of the ribs, releasing the shoulder blades down your back, and as we exhale, bring it down. As we inhale, keep your shoulder blades pulling down your back. Breathe into the rib cage, into the abdominals, and exhale. As you do so, keep the nice alignment of your spine, so when your arms go back, try not to let the back out. Keep the nice length from the shoulder blades pulling down. And then let's do it one more time. As you inhale and exhale, let your arms relax down, and with the use of the feet, we're trying to start to roll the pelvis. My feet pushing and pulling the floor, and then my pelvis start to feel this rocking motion. So we're rolling the pelvis. Shake it. Rolling the pelvis. Pushing through the feet, you can feel that the back start to lengthen. As you're pulling the feet, the back arching. Rolling through the feet, and then you can feel the scoop of the abdominals pulling up. And then release. As you're pushing through the feet, you feel the back of your leg engage underneath your leg. And then you release. Let's do it a few times. As you exhale, push with the feet, let the pelvis roll, your back feel flat, your stomach scooped inwards and upwards, and then release. As you exhale, allow your pelvis to roll, allow your stomach to lift, shoulders relax, and then release. Now find the place where your stomach feels scooping inwards and upwards, and you are able to breathe, and you start to feel your belly button pulling down towards the back, keeping the connection of your back with the floor, not by pushing the back, by scooping your abdominals inwards and upwards. Now lift your right leg off the mat, keep that position like you have something sitting on your stomach, and then bringing your leg down. Do the same. You zip up and you lift your left. So the connection is actually coming from your lower abdominals. You're pulling it, you don't tense, you're pulling in and up, so you keep the length in your back, and then you're lifting from the back of the leg and then down. Let's do it a few times. The breathing is relaxed. There is no tension in the breath, and you don't have to breathe all the time, only when you need. You're not depending on your breath here. You're just creating a position in your back and your pelvis to stay stable, for you to start to lift your leg from the front of the body, using the front of the abdominals. So as your belly button draws downwards, the leg comes up. You can try on the exhalation to breathe out. Feel the leg comes in, and then bring it down. Again, as you exhale. And then 2 more, really zipping up. Now, if you're just starting your Pilates journey, it will take time to build it up. But if you already do a little bit of Pilates, then we can move on to the next stage where one leg is lifted, and then you zip up and you lift the other leg. And then one leg is going down. You can use your exhalation and then down. So the belly button always pulling down 20%, doesn't need a lot, to create that scoop and long back. So we're lifting one leg, and then from the back of your leg up. And then as I reach the floor with my foot close to the bottom, as far as you go, it's harder. And again, one leg up, zip up, second leg up. So a lot of the exercise that we're using with the legs or over the floor, off the floor, we actually has to establish a good connection into the lower abdominals. Very nice, and then keep them down. The next stage you can try is, that's the hardest one, is really zip up and then lift both legs off the mat, and then keep the zipping, lifting both legs down. Exhale. So the idea is that my lower back is stable on the mat. I'm not arching the back to lift my legs up. I'm keeping the length of the back and then drawing the leg. It's feel like you want to drag the leg into your chest. And then away from your chest and drag the leg in. You can use the back of your leg. I'm keeping my feet close to the bottom and pushing them down. Again, zipping, and this is quite hard. And once you establish that, you can touch the floor and swap and swap. So the work comes from the hip. The back, the lower back is steady, the stomach is lifted. 2 more, 1 more, and rest. Let's take a little moment, keep the leg apart, and just let the leg stretch to one side and then to the other side. So today's lesson is really to help you to find more connection into the abdominals, or get more strength around this through some of the Pilates exercise. So the first one that we're starting is called the 100. And the 100 is a breathing exercise where we're challenging the position of the head and the shoulders and the legs to breathe in and out without with stability, without letting the neck and the shoulders shake or the leg shake. And we're pumping oxygens to the rest of the body to start our beginning of the workout. So the 100 will be always the first exercise we're doing. So we're going to start like that, and I'll give you a bit more of levels. So first of all, I always feel my feet. I connect the feet to the floor, so I press them down a little bit to engage with the back of the leg, so the pelvis can come into a position where we're not arching the back, but we're not pushing the back. So by using the back of your leg, we're creating a nice length through the back, feeling the scoop, the stomach is lifted. So when I lift my head off the floor, I look straight into the belly. And my arms wants to reach like I want to go into the front of the room, like reaching closer towards the wall in front of me. So the arms pulling the shoulder blades down, and reaching really, really nice and long. And if you can't do that, you can always hold your leg. And then you just breathe into the back of the rib cage, side, stomach, and exhale. You breathe in, and then you exhale from the chest, softening your breastbone, softening your waist down to the mat, and creating a nice lift through the back of the neck. If you can't do it with your arms reaching this way, using your arms into your leg. And exhale. You breathe in, and you breathe out. Then you go down to the floor. At the beginning, we don't do too much until we get more strength. Another option for this 100 position is, like we said, taking the legs up to a tabletop position. So we keep them together, and then we're placing the back nicely long into the mat. We lift the head off the floor, we're reaching the arms forward, and then we're starting to tap them above your waist, below the waist, and keeping the breath. Notice my neck and my shoulders are steady, my legs steady, and I can do different work with the leg. I can keep them straight if I can, and it doesn't pull too much on my back of the leg. And I breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. And if you feel tired, you can always hold your leg, or maybe pull the leg slightly forward so you can pull into the leg and keep yourself hold. And then you start to engage with the back of yourself, breathing in and breathing out. Squeeze the leg together, breathing in and breathing out. The leg pulling into my hand, breathing in and breathing out. Okay, have a little twist motion. Let your head roll. We'll do a little break. And then gently from your side, we're going up to sitting. And we're going to engage with the same movement that we did when you lie down on the floor. We use it in sitting. So I keep my feet in contact with the floor. I can hold my arms here. They always give me a point of contrast. And then by using the feet, I press into the floor and help my pelvis to roll. So I can feel my lower back, my waist pulling towards my lower back, and my lower back elongate towards the feet. And then I lift myself up. My hands giving me a point of interest. And again, exhale, shoulder blades down, and feel like your tail is reaching under, and the stomach lifted in and up. So you can engage with the lower abdominals, and then inhale. So as you press into the feet, use the back of your leg, your stomach abdominals lift up, and then you exhale. Your back is rounded, your head relaxed, and then you inhale, rolling through the pelvis. Again, press into your feet, exhale. And as you get better and better with this, and you understand the move, and you feel the front of your pelvis working, take your elbows together, you hug them, so you reduce the length of your arms. You keep your shoulder blades down. Inhale, feel tall through the head, and as you exhale, you're rolling as far as you can, and you lift yourself back up. The lower you go, the harder it is, but the idea is that we are rolling into the mat, vertebra by vertebra. I'm not going all the way down. I'm just letting you practice the beginning of that work, where you're trying to create connection into the front of the body to elongate the back of your body. My feet always in contact with the floor, and then I come up. One last time. If the hips and the thighs hurting, you can turn them inwards so you can isolate more of the work of the pelvis. And then come up and then release. Let the thighs relax. Now this is not an easy movement to start, but the mobility of the pelvis and the hip is very important to get more access into the lower stomach. So the next exercise will be the roll-ups. So we're going to roll down to the mat, and if you feel like you can't do it, put your hands and then find your lower back into the mat. And then when you're ready, you push into your hands and you lift yourself up. Now some people it's easy for them, and some people it takes time to build up. Depends on the shape and your own practice. So as I go down, I roll. When I need, I put my hand, and then I let my lower back elongate until I find the lower back on the floor. So I keep the connection in front of my pelvis and I push, and then I come up. If you get better at that, you can start to roll down. Take your arms over the head like we explained at the beginning of the class, and then you lift your head, you look ahead, and as you exhale, you lift yourself forward. You roll back, you take your arms over the head. As you exhale, you reach your arm forward like the 100, and then you lift yourself up. One last time, you roll down. You bring your arms over the head, and you look ahead, and you lift yourself from the front. So that practice takes time. After we did that, we're going to use the motion of rolling like a ball, but in a very modified way. So the first thing we do is get the bottom close to the heel, and then lean back and let the feet come off the floor. And then we're trying to find a point of balance where we're not too much here and we're not too much there with the head pulling back. It's more of a letting the pelvis curl under, and just shift your weight a little bit to keep the feet off the floor. And then you place them down. So let's practice again. The pelvis is curled under, the stomach is lifted, so you get a nice waist long. You hold up, and then you let the leg coming up. My head always look between my legs, and then I'm coming forward. And again, lift your stomach, exhale, and hold. So then we're going now to keep a strong hold into the leg and the leg into the hand, and we're allowing the pelvis to roll into the back, and then I'm lifting myself into the knees. And again, I roll into my lower back, and I lift towards my knee. Again, everything from the front of the pelvis. I'm holding really tight into my leg, and my leg giving me contrast. Then I stay here, and I keep pushing into my hand, and then I'm starting to rock back and forward. So I can start to massage my lower back. It's actually a massage for your lower back. So the hips come up, and the idea is to let the hips come up. So you do it in a small movement until you start to feel like you can go to that balance point and roll back and go up to the balance point and roll back. And everything I do, I keep that nice lift in my abdominals to create space, to elongate my back. Inhale back, exhale up, inhale back, and then I stay and find that balance. Put the feet down. Let's roll down into your back. Take a nice moment to feel your feet on the ground, pushing them into the floor. Elongate your back, elongate your waist. Open and widen your stomach, your ribs, your chest. Just take a nice breath in and exhale. So I'm not letting the scoop of my tummy to restrict my breathing. I breathe to the diaphragm. I let it stretch wide, create space in my stomach, and exhale and feel everything sinking down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, feel the wideness. Arms can go out. And exhale, press them down from the armpit like you're pushing your ears towards the pelvis. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Let's do some circle. Inhale. As you can see, when my arms move, I keep a nice stability through my spine. Is nicely elongate along the mat, from the base of the spine to the base of my neck. My shoulder blades always pulling down my back, and as I lift, I create a nice long shape from the armpit to the ribs, and then release by your side. So in our abdominals workout, we have what we call the single leg stretch, and we're going to do it now. So like we said, zip up, bring the right leg above your hip and feel the legs just above the hip. You're going to reach your head forward and hold behind that leg. Now, like we did before, feel like the leg is pulling into your hand and the head pulling into your leg. So there is a little bit of a battle between the two. And then as you feel the resistance by pushing into your hand and your head pushing into your leg, you start to create that little scoop inside your stomach, so it's pulling in and up. And then you let the left leg float 45 degrees. And you're breathing into the back of your rib cage. And you find that kind of stability that comes from the front. Now the challenge really is in the transition. So we change the leg position. Then we hold. So this leg lengthening 45 degrees from the bottom of my rib cage all the way down my waist, forward into my feet, and this leg is holding. I'm holding myself up, and this leg gives me contrast and swap. This is if you need help, but some people don't need help to hold, so they can release the contract and focusing on pulling this leg in and pushing this leg out. So at the end of the day, this exercise looks like one. So one pulling in, one pushing out. And my body centered. So my hips feel stable. One. The whole stability comes from here. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Bring your head down. Let your head rock from side to side. So all of this takes time to build up. You actually need to learn this lesson and find those details in your body. But I'm just explaining a little bit more in details the beginners of this workout, and then the exercise become more challenging. Let the knees draw into your chest a little bit, releasing the back into the floor. And then we have the next one to come. So again, place your feet into the ground, press them. Feel the connection into the back leg. Feel the zipping, lifting inwards and upwards. Shoulders relax. Lift the head off the floor. Drag your knees up. So for this one, I'm just going to break it down. You're going to lift the arms up, circle, and hug your leg to keep you up. And the legs stay over the hip. Again, your arms goes up, circle around, and then hold it as my exhalation. And then inhale and exhale. So I'm like into a hammock position. My head is lifted, my shoulders pulling down and become more, my shoulder blades more widening. And then again, inhale. So the challenging in the arms is not to drop the head. And after that, you're going back and you rest. So the next part of this exercise is exhale, come up, let the leg pull you, and then stretch them out into your hand. Allow them to push you forward. If you feel the connection and you feel strong here, leave your arms. Circle small one and bend. Push the leg. Circle and bend. Push into the leg. Circle and rest. So just as a big picture, this exercise looks like that. Inhale and then hug. Inhale and then hug. My leg pulling. And I stay steady as I reach my arms to the ceiling, shoulder blades down. So you basically can progress into it. Again, allow your neck to move side to side. Okay, let's finish by coming up to the spine stretch. So I sit facing towards you. This is quite of a challenge because the spine stretch is more about lifting your spine upwards and then go forward. It's not about the stretch in the hamstring and all of that. So the first thing I want you to find that let's keep the legs bent to be able not to sit here. We need to sit under the base of your spine, base of your sit bones. And then allow the stomach to lift up and release the arms between your legs. So you're already pushing down into the hand, and as you exhale, you let the upper spine to lift upwards and you breathe out. And then as you inhale, I'm restacking my spine. So that's kind of in a very modified way to do it. And again, so as I lift my stomach up, I'm engaging with my back of my shoulder blades, upper spine, and let the arms lengthening forward, lifting up, lifting the stomach, and then coming up. Now, if we want to work towards straight leg, we will go pushing the floor and at the same time letting the leg stretch forward, and we stop when we need. And then you inhale, you restack your spine, you feel really, really tall, like against the back wall, and you bend the knee. Let's do it again. You exhale, you push the floor, you lift the stomach, you're pulling it backwards, and at the same time your leg reaching forward. And then inhale. And again, exhale. So I'm pushing back with my stomach into my lower back, lifting the back of my spine and reaching forward. If you are able to sit nice and straight with the leg, at this point you just create a nice lift through the spine and you reach nice and long, like your arms going over a tabletop. So we are preventing the drop and the fall. And then we restack the spine vertebra by vertebra. One more time, and exhale. And then inhale. Okay, so that's about it for the beginner level of this exercise. I'm just going to finish with just a nice stretch towards that stomach. So we're letting the leg reaching to the back, pulling the lower part of your body towards the back of the room, and your elbow pulling you towards the front of the room. So you get a nice stretch in your stomach. And if your lower back is hurt, you can always walk your elbows forward and just letting the stomach feel a nice stretch along your mat. Again, engage with the breath. And we just take a nice little stretch as we're holding the foot, and we're letting the pelvis push down so we can stretch the front part of your leg. And then we change to the other side. Now a quick look into the sideline position. So if you're coming to my beginners class, we also incorporate this sideline position, although that it's not easy for beginners to achieve. But the idea is that we want to take this part from the hip all the way up to the shoulder blades and make it nice and long against the mat. And the legs slightly forward so you can see your toes. Now, when I lift my abdominals, there will be a nice little space between the waist and the floor. So I will feel a space and not push down. Because I'm lifting and scooping, I'm feeling the waist slightly off the mat, and the leg wants to stretch, like you wake up and you stretch your leg, and this top leg wants to lift, and you're pushing it outwards and lifting upwards, pushing out and lift outwards, and you just hold it with point and flex, point. So you can sense that the bottom leg is pushing down, the top leg going up to the hip level. And then if you establish a good connection all the way up to here, you're just challenging the movement of the leg back to front without falling backwards or forward. Forward, and always keep that lift. And this arm is helping you to control your balance. Forward and back. So you're starting to create flexion in the hip and then extension in the hip. Flexion and extension. Flex. And if you get better, you can go further, like a kick, and then you're pushing it back, like a good stretch and wake up call when you wake up in the morning and you feel your whole body wants to elongate. And then exhale, then a nice breath. That without getting into your lower back. There is always feeling of lengthening outward through the waist, that where my fingers is pointing. And then the waist stay long when the leg comes in. This is where your stomach start to work. And then your stomach start to stretch. All right, then you come up and you change side. So it's kind of like look easy when you see somebody else doing it, but the whole puzzle work is about you and your body, and you have to find a way to break it down and find your own details in it, and try to understand the main principles of what you're trying to achieve in every exercise you're doing, and that's take time. So again, because you are lifting your abdominals, you feel the waist of the mat, and your shoulder blades are pulling down, your arms in front, and then you feel like you want to stretch the leg, like a wake up. When you wake up in the morning and you feel your leg wants to really stretch, yawning, flexing the feet, feeling a nice long waist, reaching towards the feet, flex and point with the feet. So again, the balance is on your side. This bottom leg is pushing down. And if you are become more and more stable, the next phase for you is to move forward and back. I'm hitting a little bit of a plant there. Just going to move a bit. Forward and back. I'm really trying to keep the stability across my hips and shoulder so I don't fall back and forward. Everything stay on its side. And then if I get better, I can kick further. It's everybody with their own body. If I feel very wobbly, the bottom leg can feel forward as well. You don't have to keep it very much like that. It can go forward so you can have more balance. For me, it's best to put it here. Forward, and then lengthen, lengthen, open up your waist, pull the waist away, release the ribs to your hip, and then forward and back, forward. This is where it starts to feel more of a flow. But everyone comes to a class with a different level, different shape, so it's very hard to say what's hard, what's not hard, and just a video to show the exercise doesn't mean a lot. But for those who come to my classes and just starting the journey, this is a nice little good revision to work with. And forward and back. Okay, so let's sit a little bit like that, with the leg apart. And we're going to take a nice stretch to the side. And then to the other side. Imagine you are between two walls. For some people, this stretch will be easier than come up to this stretch. So I quite developed a good practice here, but it wasn't easy for me. There is some videos, other videos that I work on that position. One more time. And then maybe just hug yourself here. So you're sending your hip back and you let the waist comes around you. And then let's change position. And we go, let's start this way. Now breathing out, my exhalation, pushing my ribs down. My inhalation lifting my ribs up. And then maybe turn. So my waist pulling back, my ribs pulling around. And then release. Let the heels relax. That's about this. Thank you.